Hello, and thank you for attending another episode of Napkin Numbers with Freeman Lunt. Today, we're going to be talking about maximizing buyer opportunities, why a buy-side rep helps. We're going to go through a couple case studies that we've recently closed, give you some insight on things that we've done to help people on the buy side. The first case study we're going to share with you is a guy that was purchasing a car dealership over in the Midwest. So he had experience in that space, been a general manager for a long time, had never owned a business on his own, and didn't know how to do this, where to start, right? So he was referred to us by, a common friend, sat down, evaluated his situation. He knew the company that he wanted to buy. It was actually for sale, included the real estate. It was a big number to buy it off for a first-time buyer. After we educated him on the options that he would have in regards to financing, which we used SBA in this scenario, he got a good grasp of seeing in reality that this could happen. We could make this come to fruition. So let's talk about some of the nuances of the deal. In the first phone call, we got on the phone with the seller's representative and uncovered that they were counting PPP money in the cash flow. Well, if any of you know anything about PPP, that was kind of a one-time thing, right? That's not something that we can count for future revenues. But they did. They counted that in their valuation. This is why having a buy-side rep can be extremely valuable. Once we uncovered that, talked it through with the sales side rep, they realized that was an error. And I believe it reduced the value on the business by about $400,000 to $500,000. And that was in the first 20 to 25 minute, phone call conversation. So that was fun. We always love saving our buyers money. The next challenge was getting this buyer a new flooring line. So the current flooring line provider didn't want to keep that flooring line going because our buyer did an asset purchase where he created a new entity. Obviously, that maximized depreciation, for him, and was a great tax strategy. So he had to create a new entity that was going to take over this business, keep the name doing business as, but by doing that, now it's a brand new company, right? So this flooring line agency said, hey, we need him in business for at least 2 years, so we're not going to do this. Well, without a flooring line, that deal was dead, right? Anybody buying a car dealership needs a flooring line to buy inventory, and that's a whole nother deep conversation of how flooring lines work. But without it, we weren't going to have a deal. Long story short, we did find a couple different flooring line lenders that were very open on how we could get this deal done with them. And it made sense how we'd mitigate the risk of them being new. We overcame it because of experience, in the industry, along with a strong business plan that he provided. And we showed that we had SBA financing behind it. So they got comfortable. We got them that flooring line. And lastly, we put together a good working capital package for him. Any new business owner coming in, it's like buying a new house. You buy a brand new house and you walk in, you don't realize, oh crap, I need drapes, I need appliances, I need all kinds of things that I thought were coming with the home. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, right? In this particular scenario, he was going to need that working capital. You take over day one, you got to start paying payroll, you got to start picking up all those expenses that are already there. So we were able to secure that along with the SBA financing, which for us is pretty standard in our approach when we're putting together packages for buyers. That working capital is crucial when you're coming out the gates and you want to get this business off and running right away. Scott is going to go ahead and tackle the next case study, so I'll turn it over to him.
Yeah, thanks, Rahsaan. So sometimes having a buy-side rep is because you don't even know you're a buyer. And so we had a company actually get referred to us that was looking for working capital. They had an existing business. Financially, things were a little tight because they were early in their business. I think they were just a couple of years old. Didn't have very exciting financials. We started walking through the process of what it would take for them to get working capital so they could grow. And during that conversation, one of the things that came up was, have you ever thought about growth by acquisition? And their response was, well, no, we don't have the money for that. We could never do something like that. It hasn't even crossed our mind. We're just trying to get this business up and going. So we sat down, walked through the idea of what it looks like. And really we did is we helped them navigate a process. They ended up buying two of their largest competitors. And so in that process, we navigated it for them. We helped coordinate leverage, acquiring working capital, thinking about the business post-closing, like the business processes and pricing ideas. But the biggest thing that we did was help them recognize that they could buy a company and execute on opportunities they never thought that we'd be capable of. And it was just about going through some financial planning, doing a model of pro formas and cash budgets of, what you would need for cash to actually close on these transactions, how to set operational and sales goals. And they ended up acquiring the two largest competitors in different non-overlapping geographies. They acquired a multi-million-dollar commercial real estate building in that process. They went from about $1 million a year in revenue to around 7 million, and from like 3 to 25 people. They did all of that with like 5% out of pocket. So it was a huge undertaking, and it took a couple of years for them to execute on it, to acquire one and then stage into the next one. But at the end of the entire process, it was this amazing feeling of, I never knew this was a way we could grow. And growth by acquisition is like fast forwarding your plans. You can have the organic growth of, hey, I'm going to hire somebody, teach them all the skills necessary, and then add to my revenue with their efforts. Or you can go pay for top talent, have them come in and start being productive tomorrow. And every business owner has a different idea of what they want to accomplish, but growth by acquisition is a great way to bring on a company and expand your top line and your bottom line in a very rapid manner. So we were pretty happy with it. They were pretty excited, and they were overwhelmed for the next year or so trying to assimilate two businesses. But in hindsight, we had a recent conversation. They're loving it. They're excited that they were able to grow like this, and it was something they never thought of. So again, as we wrapped up these two case studies, we really wanted to make sure that people understand that it helps to have buy-side representation. Just to walk through the idea of what you need to accomplish when buying a business, how the process works, during due diligence, what things to look out for, how to be mindful about what happens after closing. What are you buying outside of just the tangible stuff? Are you buying pricing policies? Are you buying processes that could help you streamline your existing business? The wide variety of things that come up, that's why you have a buy-side rep. So thank you again for tuning in for Napkin Numbers. We hope you've enjoyed this little bit of case studies of how we've been helping buy-side representation. And make sure you follow and subscribe below, and we'll see you next time.